Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, today's first story comes from Jew Translator 9497 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit, and says, am I the arsehole here for throwing my brother's prison trauma in his face to prove a point? My brother has always been an angry, hot-headed thug. Since he was a small kid, he showed violent behaviour, idolized gangs, and would just generally be a prick to everyone. He's the kind of decent guy that goes on about respecting him and tries to intimidate everyone just because he can. When he was a teenager, it escalated dramatically and our parents tried whatever they could to fix it. He started using drugs when he was 16. By the time he was 19, he went to prison for 2 years. Prison changed him. After he got out, he was not the same guy. He flinched when you touched him, slept with the lights on, and added an extra lock to the door of his room when he stayed with my parents. He was broken. He eventually had a full-blown mental breakdown where he started talking about what happened. It was about as bad as you expected. His combative nature isolated him day one and made him a target for all kinds of abuse his entire sentence. He's been in therapy for years. He's 32 now. He went back to school, met a nice woman, and is actually turning his life around. Our relationship isn't perfect and it will never be fully healed, but he's trying to actually be a human being. The problem has been the last couple of months. You can see it on his face, the way he acts. He's slowly going back to his old ways. He acts aggressive around mum and dad. When he's out, he tries to pick fights again. The people he hangs around with are known violent felons and suspected dealers. He had a girlfriend for about a year, but she left him because he started frequently screaming, throwing things around their apartment, and threatening to hurt her. It's obvious he's on drugs again. He's slowly unraveling and throwing away years of progress. Our parents tried talking to him, offered rehab, offered for him to stay with them for some time. He flipped out at our parents, and after years of his crap, they simply walked away and blocked him for the time being. They spent years and countless dollars before and after his sentence to try and help him. They were done. I tried talking to him. His place was a mess and he had empty alcohol bottles and pill containers scattered around his place. He got hostile very quickly when I pointed out the obvious and threatened me. I snapped and brought up what he told us about his prison time and told him it would all be waiting for him again if he doesn't fix his shit. And that this time, his family won't be waiting to help clean up his mess. It shut him down super quickly, and he just curled up on the couch and weakly told me to leave. I felt terrible since I brought it up, but he has gladly thrown away years of progress for the same crap that got him in trouble in the first place. He knows what prison is like, and he's doing everything he can to go back there. He's spitting in the face of everyone who went to bat for him, chasing the same highs that almost destroyed his life. Sometimes in life, that tough love is absolutely needed, and you gave him exactly that. You've tried talking to him, your parents have tried talking to him, he's been in therapy, and now he's going back to his old ways, and you're just reminding him of the consequences of his old ways. And we've seen it time and time again in these stories, and I'm incredibly sorry that your family's having to go through this. But it kind of feels like that's all you can do in this situation. He needs to help himself at the same time, and if he doesn't, he's likely to end up back in prison again. But these are his choices that he's making. But Electrical Worker says not the arsehole for pointing out to your brother that drugs and violence will end him back in prison again. You can recommend to get help before he digs himself in further. Make sure he knows that the reason you told him what you said was that you were worried about him and care about him, and that you're not trying to hurt him. Another commenter says not the arsehole, sometimes you just can't help the drowning man who's slapping you away from saving him. Even if they're family, they're not worth it. Despite the emotional connection, there are thousands of people who are in your brother's position, and they're actively trying their darnest to stay on course for their family, friends, and themselves. Unpracticed Pagan says not the arsehole. Somewhere along the lines he fell back in with bad people who had him relapse, and somehow he compartmentalized his past prison trauma. Probably to justify his relapse and tell himself it's okay. You're giving him a loud reminder to wake up if he doesn't want to go through all that again. It may be tough. He may think you are the arsehole, but he probably 100% needed to hear it. I hope he reaches out to you, since you seem to still be open to contact, and asks for help so he can get better again. Confusion knows says not the arsehole. Sometimes someone needs to hear the hard truth and realize they've hit rock bottom before it's too late. It might have sucked, but he needs to remember how scared and broken he was so he doesn't go back or something worse happens. And one more comment from Weak Assignment who says not the arsehole. My little brother lived this cycle. Went to juvie at 12 and was in and out of jail until he was 28 years old. My dad and his mum were horrible parents and he was treated like no child should ever be. It took a long stint in penitentiary and his child being born while he was behind bars to finally clean up and stay that way. The truth hurts, but it's the truth whether it's said out loud or in your mind, and unfortunately, it's what he needs to hear. And yeah, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt as much as going back to jail will. 10 times out of 10, I will risk my relationship and give my siblings a reality check before I let them put our family and themselves into another half-decade of misery and a lifetime of PTSD. And I've mentioned someone I knew when I was younger who also, like that comment said, lived this cycle. The parents weren't particularly great parents. He ended up associating with various people that were into drugs that lived across the river from us, much older people as well. These people ended up influencing him to steal from local shops to bring them back food, etc. He got caught. He was in and out of the equivalent of juvenile detention. He kept running away from home to be with these people, getting arrested for more stealing. And it's incredibly sad to see. And, I've seen this guy sort of online probably about a year or so ago, and you can see, on his face, it sounds horrible to say, but you can see the hard life he's had. And yes, he was a shit, and I'm not excusing that behavior. And he's turned himself around now, but like I said, you can still see the effects of his past life on him. And, like the brother in this situation, I hope that he does see the truth in this and starts to turn it around again, because the alternative is, although this guy might be a shit now and a shit in his past, if he continues down this path, ends up in jail and gets out again and continues this cycle, we've just got another shithead walking around the streets, right? And nobody wants that. The OP came back in to update their post and says, last night my brother got high and trashed his apartment. He punched holes in the walls, destroyed furniture and busted windows. Utterly destroyed his place. He tried kicking a neighbor's door in and throw rocks through their window. When they yelled, they were calling the police and threatened to kill them. Police came and he tried fighting them and got his ass beat badly. They took him to the hospital. He calmed down for enough time to call me to the hospital. It was unintelligible, but I got the gist of it. And yes, I shouldn't have gone to see him. But by the time I got there, he'd lost his shit again and was in 4-point restraints. He was screaming and practically feral. I couldn't even get any words in before I decided to leave. From what I can gather from the cops there I talked to, they found a ton of drugs. He assaulted a police officer, destroyed his apartment and damaged a neighbor's front door and window. Threatened to kill the neighbor, tried to escape arrest and punched a nurse. Bit a tech, and to top it off, was already in trouble for sending death threats to his ex. So yeah, he's going back to prison for a much longer time. I'm done with him. Our parents are done. Everyone is done with him. And frankly, I'm very okay with that since I am finally free of the stress he brings. He didn't learn a damn thing. And a lot of the majority of the comments are saying, it's drug induced. People saying he's got mental issues. Other people saying, it's best to cut him off. People can only receive help if they want that help, and it doesn't seem like he's going down the right path. Many different comments on this one. Incredibly sad that you had to go through that you had to live through this. But simply, you can't force that help if they don't accept it. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Investigator C1323 from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit and says, Am I the arsehole for snapping at my husband for repeatedly bringing up breast surgery? I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 34 male, for over a year. We've been together for 6 years. He's a gym freak, which I don't have a problem with, except for when he sometimes tries to impose his routine on me. pressure me into adopting his dietary habits. I exercise too. I'm 5'6" and 130 pounds, but I enjoy my food and nothing will change that. That's not what I'm posting about though. Lately, I can't wear a dress without him telling me I look good, but that I would have looked better if I had that breast augmentation surgery. He never complained about my breasts for 6 years until the past 4 to 5 months. I've told him before that I'm not against it, but not planning to get one. It took me years to regain my confidence because my mother used to make hurtful remarks about my chest, like if it's something I didn't achieve. A few days ago we were having sex and he didn't hesitate to remind me again that I would look 10 times better with the implants, which turned me off instantly. I don't remember what I exactly said, but I said something along the lines of, "I know how it feels. Never mind, you're the perfect size. The big ones hurt anyway." He got mad and called me immature and all. Mind you, he's been pressuring me to have surgery for 4 months now, and I never snapped at him. Edit. I'm an A-cup. Yesterday, we were getting ready to go to his friend's wedding, but I ended up staying home. He brought up the surgery again, and I snapped at him. I reminded him that we dated for 5 years before we got married. He had plenty of time to realize that I'm not good enough for him and to break up with me to find a woman who has what he's looking for. I do have eyes. He's right that I'm flat-chested, but have a nice body overall. He said he loves me and wants to be with me, but feels he could be more attracted to me with bigger breasts. I ended up telling him to go alone. I can't shake off the feeling that our recent arguments are taking us down a toxic path. It's not the kind of relationship I want for us. Is this worth considering divorce over? Other than this, we do get along very well, but I feel like he's taken me back to the days when I would stand in front of the mirror for minutes, thinking I would never find a man who would like me if I myself don't like what I'm seeing. Edit for the weirdos asking/going to for pics to see if they're a handful or not. I'm asking if this behavior is acceptable or not if I'm really flat-chested. I am. I don't need to send any pics for you to judge. Man, there's some fucking weird people out there, man, sending messages like that. Jesus. Absolutely not the arsehole for snapping at him. He's repeatedly doing this time and time again. You said about him trying to impose his routine on you, pressuring you into adopting his dietary habits. A lot of this felt very much like control. And you said that's not what you're posting about, but it felt like it's all a part of it at the same time. He's telling you this stuff whilst you're having sex. And I'm going to assume, and I might be assuming wrongly, that he knows about these hurtful remarks that your mother used to make to you and the confidence issues you had because of that. And he decides to make these comments. He's got to be thick as mince to go down that path. But Sonny SJ says he tells you quite regularly that he finds you lacking. He even goes as far as to bring this up during sex. This is not the actions of a respectful, loving spouse. You are well within your rights to make a mean comment to him. Funny how people who regularly dish out cruelty are the ones least able to take it. If you agree to the breast augmentation, I would willingly bet a large sum of money there'll be something else he will want you to fix. You having bigger breasts won't fix whatever his issue is. Go Get Silver Ball says, my first husband talked to me about this same thing. I said no. He then had his best friend call me at work to ask why I wouldn't agree to it. Divorce followed promptly. Not the arsehole. What the hell is that? I'm just trying to picture that scenario, him going up to his best friend at work and saying, mate, I need my wife to get breast surgery. Would you give her a call and tell her that you need to agree to it because for whatever reason, I can't think of a reason. And then the best friend thinking, I'll do that. And then calling her up and actually saying this shit. That is wild. Another commenter says your husband shouldn't be nagging you to undergo an elective surgery for only his benefit. He's being immensely disrespectful, which is too nice of a description, but anyway, be proud of your body. Don't allow his behavior to affect your self-esteem. Does he know you might consider divorce over this issue? Tell him and base your decision upon his reaction. Roshi says, I decided to have breast reduction surgery due to back and neck pain. I'd been with my partner for over 5 years at the time. He was extremely upset that I was taking his toys away, which he started to remind me on a weekly basis leading up to my surgery. Needless to say, the relationship ended just days before I had my surgery. All the pains, including him, are now gone. One more comment from lovely Danny, who says, I do think this is grounds to consider divorce. And I'm not one of those people on Reddit who suggest divorce for every issue. But my strong suspicion is that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I can't imagine how he'll treat you if you ever got pregnant, / delivered a child / breastfed. Better to get out now while your body and self-esteem is relatively intact and find somebody who really loves you for you, especially since you are still young. It'd be a lot harder to start over when you're older / possibly a mother. The OP comes in with her update and says I had no intention of mentioning divorce, not until I get some answers that could help with my decision. I was hoping we would end up agreeing on counselling or something. I just wanted an honest conversation to know if there was a way to fill that void for him without ever getting the surgery. I sat him down last night and, just like usual, he tried to change the subject. I made it clear to him that it's either we talk about it now or he never ever brings up breast surgery again. Well, that did it for him. I asked him why he suddenly, after 6 years together, wants me to get one. He wouldn't give me a straight answer. I told him if I'm to consider having one, he needs to be honest with me about what changed in the past few months. He grabbed his phone and showed me some women's pictures on his phone. Let me tell you, they weren't Instagram models. They were 100% OnlyFans models. He showed me more than 5 pictures with no shame or the slightest consideration of my feelings. With each pic, he said things like, "See, you would look 10 times hotter. She's not even as gorgeous as you are, but..." I asked him if I decide to never get the surgery, would he ever drop the idea? Like, can we move past it? He said it's something he can't stop thinking about because he really feels like he would be more attracted to me and that I myself would feel more confident with the boob job. I do have eyes, and just like I know how small my chest is, I know that I have a nice body figure. People see, people compliment, so they can't all be liars. I asked what he ever liked about me in general because from the pictures he showed me, I didn't see any women that resemble me even a bit. He said that I'm gorgeous and have a killer smile and he likes my curvy hips. I asked him if there's anything else he likes about me in general. I was hoping he would mention something other than my body or anything, and all he said was, "your lips." I told him since I'm considering breast augmentation surgery, is there anything else he thinks I could fix so he feels more attracted to me while we're at it? I hoped that he would at least say, other than my boobs, he loves everything about me. He said, "You're good." From grammatical errors, you could tell I'm not a native English speaker. I'm Brazilian. I told him I will think about it and say goodnight because I want to give him the satisfaction of seeing my tears. I don't know if I'm just naturally stupid and never paid attention to the red flag, or he just decided to show me his true colors now that we're married. By the way, since I'm asked, yes, he does know about my history with my mother. Every woman in my family is a C cup and up, including my younger sister. I'm the only one with an A cup. He initiated sex later and I told him there's a lot on my mind right now. He didn't even argue and after like 5 minutes said, "I will pay for it, don't worry about that." When we met, he was around 230 pounds. He's 5'8" and he never went to the gym before. He's 190 pounds now. I'm mentioning this because someone said I hooked up with him for his looks and physique. Physique wasn't on the table back then, but it never / would matter to me as long as the person in front of me cares about me for who I am. I myself am not perfect. Anyway, he was so insecure about his look, and I never ever said a thing about them. I use / still voice how I love this and that about him. I boosted his ego just for him to decide that he'd be more attracted to me if I get a boob job after 6 years together. And for those saying I'm lazy for not going to the gym with him and that he wants what's best for me, I said I do exercise. Yes, I'm an A cup and I know it's not for everyone and I respect that, but I'm fucking gorgeous. My mother / him or anyone else won't change that. I'm a babe. Deal with it. Ooh, like it. He himself used to mention how I get looks all the time when we're out. I felt hurt and cried because it hurts to not feel desired by the person you love the most and want to be desired by. Other than that, I'm perfectly happy with my body. And if I ever decide to get the boob job, I will get it for me. Not for someone who finishes in 2 minutes and can't even hit the spot. I need time to make a plan before I start the process. When everything is ready and I have a place lined up, I will serve him the papers. By the way, I will initiate sex tonight and every night until the day I serve him. Edit. I get it now, it's a bad idea, but I will go with it for tonight at least. I bought a dildo today thrice his size and I'm using it after he finishes. If he goes lower, I'm going lower until I have an exit plan ready. Thank you to each and everyone who took the time to read my post and share their support and advice. Your words have really made a difference for me. Thanks to the men who offered their perspectives and advice. Your honesty has been eye-opening. Edit. I never knew Reddit wasn't for such problems and I wasn't supposed to post on this sub. I tried another sub and they asked for an account starting with a throwaway. I can't talk about this with family and friends, especially not my mother. It's just embarrassing. The best option for me was people on the internet. I'm just trying to think how you can be so clueless in this situation though, I think she made it clear that she wasn't keen on the breast surgery and he kept pushing for it time and time again. She has this discussion with him about it. She asked him about if she never got the surgery, can they move past it? And he said he can't stop thinking about it and was showing her OnlyFans pictures. Oh dear. And this guy wasn't picking up any of the clues and later on tried to initiate sex and says, oh, don't worry, I'll pay for it, like it's about the money. Oh, what a Burke. Anyway, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.